Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS. Fans, brews, and Broncos news.
What's going on, Broncos country? It is that time of week again. It is Broncos game day. We are about an hour away from kickoff. I'm here with Adam to break down what we see, last-minute injury news, and some all-around NFL news. Adam, how are you doing today, and how are you feeling about this game coming up against the Jaguars?
I feel about as good as I've normally felt this whole win streak. I did have a question. Do you know what Duval is? I don't know what Duval is. They say it all the time. And
I do, unfortunately. It's the county that Jacksonville's in.
Oh,
Duval
so it's not even
County.
cool. So
No, it's not even special.
Got it. Okay. Okay. That makes it even lamer. So good, I think.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good. I think the Broncos are in a really good place as far as play. They're in a really good place as far as their mindset. I granted Jacksonville is going to be a good test to see where we're at. Another hot team coming into Denver. So I think our defense is up to the task. I think our offense is playing better. So I think this is going to be another really good game for us. But what do you think, Jared?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're searching for 13 in a row here, which hasn't been done in a really long time. And I think that, 12 in a row alone, I think the best record the Broncos had is 14. And I don't think there's a chance that we beat that record with the second-year quarterback, which is wild to me. And yeah, after the test last week, we came up, we showed out, we did what we need to do. And I think we could do it again. Few key things I'm thinking about this game is, one, we saw Green Bay getting just gassed in Mile High last week. And I think it's going to be the same for the Jaguars. I just don't think they're ready for the Mile High air. Adam, you can look outside the window there. I look outside the window here and it's 75 and sunny. So, but what's the weather like there in Colorado?
Pretty freaking close. I know today is supposed to be the first day of winter. I think it's supposed to be like 60 degrees for the high. And there's not a cloud in the sky right now. It is a beautiful, gorgeous day in Denver. You make a really good point with the altitude, and I think what's really kind of helped with a lot of these comebacks late in the game is kind of seeing the other team fade a little bit when you go into the end of the third, beginning of the fourth. So I think Denver is going to use that to their advantage as well. One of the things that I saw in the Jacksonville kind of lead up is they can be run on a little bit. Now, obviously, Denver is not a grinded out type of football team, but that does mean that 𝐊𝐕𝐄 is going to have to run well enough in order to keep that play action game going, in order to give Bo that time to go ahead and get things going in the offensive game.
Yeah, no, I think that's a big piece. And I think we saw it last week. He wasn't a huge factor. I think we flipped it up with the running backs, but just the play action, the short passes, drives that took 6, 7, 8 minutes to get down the field. And I think that's going to be kind of the same game plan. We just got to hit those first downs. Bo needs to be on point with finding the open receivers to get those first downs. And I think it looks like 56 right now, spring-like out there. And it's absolutely a beautiful day. But yeah, I think the altitude is going to play. And then, of course, it's a home game. So you always got to factor in that home crowd, right? Broncos country is always loud. And it happened last week. And it seems like every time we get one of these big wins, you got Coach coming on. Coach Payton comes on in the post game, and he's talking about how great the fans are. He's like, it makes a difference, right? We get penalties. We make them take timeouts. Like, those are pieces that people forget about. You can affect the game by just cheering your ass off. And I think that Broncos country does it really well. And I think we're going to do it again today.
I feel exactly the same way. And I know when I go to the game, I take it upon myself to you got to be as loud as possible, because you got to support you got to hope you get some false starts. You got to hope that you make it an uncomfortable place to play if you're the opposing team. I think I read somewhere that Denver is the only team in the NFL this year that's undefeated at home.
Yeah, I think so. And I think we're on like a ridiculous home win streak too, going back to last year as well. I don't know the numbers right now, but I think I saw something that was like we have like 15 or 16 home games in a row, like just went one, and that's amazing. That's crazy.
And like Flagman said it on the Monday pod that I mean, one of the things that I've enjoyed about this kind of renaissance that we've had in Bronco football the last 2 seasons is that they've made Mile High Stadium a tough place to come in and play. And I think, I'm all about home field advantage. You want to play here. You definitely want the playoffs to come through Denver. And in a league where there's, the margins are so razor thin sometimes that if you have that little bit of extra advantage in one other area, I think that's nothing but a bet. That's nothing but good for the Broncos.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we are listening to the Tailgate Talk, one of the Bourbon Broncos No BS originals here 1 hour before kickoff. We do this every week before kickoff. So make sure you guys will post your questions, comments, concerns about what's coming up. Things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about injury reports. Ben Powers being back. It's huge. We're going to talk about that. We're going to go around the NFL. We're going to talk about here in a second. We're going to talk about what's going on in the NFL and how that affects us. The Cowboys need to get their shit together, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And then we're going to talk about matchups that we think that are going to be important for this game. Obviously, we already talked about the home field advantage, which is huge. But we got to talk about Tim Patrick being back in town. We got to talk about a lot of other stuff. So post those questions, comments. What do you guys want to hear? That's what we're here for. We're here for you guys. So let's kick it off. Let's start with around the horn of the NFL. The Cowboys are I hate putting money on the Cowboys to be the team that helps us out, right? And I have a lot of Cowboys fans. All my in-laws are Cowboys fans. I'm hitting them up. I'm like, this is the first time you're going to see me say this in a text message, but go Cowboys. And what are they doing? They're stinking it up. They just threw an interception. Give it back to the Chargers. Obviously, if the Cowboys end up winning that game, it helps us out a lot. But if we win out, we don't need the help, right? So that's kind of the important piece there.
That always gets into this weird time of the year when strange bedfellows are made when you're trying to figure out what team can help you out. And I need help because I have a fantasy football championship today. So Dak, if you could quit throwing some picks, that helps me out. And if you could just throw every pass to George Pickens, well, that also helps me out too. Kathleen, what's up? Glad you could jump in and say what's up and spend some time with us. I mean, as far as matchups go, this kind of seems like a team, like two teams that are searching for that respectability a little bit. So I wonder if that's going to be an added thing for today where, maybe Jacksonville feels like they're being slept on a little bit and the number 1 seed isn't, hypothetically anyway, isn't that far away for them to be able to go ahead and reclaim, whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're still fighting for first in the AFC South, too. So let's remember that. They're fighting with Houston for first in the AFC South. They're fighting. If they beat us, they have a chance to get the number 1 seed in the AFC. If they lose to us, that's gone out of their hands. I don't think there is a lot of people out there that are really thinking the Jags are going to take number 1 in the AFC just because of the inconsistent play that they have. But in other AFC news, we got Kev jumping in, hopefully with some. In other AFC news, before I kick it over to Kev, the Kansas City Chiefs are currently getting beat up by the worst team in the league, by far the worst team in the league, the Tennessee Titans. They're on their 3rd quarterback, and it makes my heart happy. But yeah, Kev's walking into the stadium right now. Here he is, all oranged out, ready to go. Kev, how you feeling about this game? How's the fans feeling?
Bro, it's crazy. I mean, people are confident. It goes back to the game before the Chiefs. I'll admit, I was worried, right? I had maybe a little bit of doubt. You never know with the Chiefs. You never knew if this team was actually going to show up when it mattered most. And ever since then, they've shown that they do that time in and time out. This team knows what they're fighting for. They're fighting on their home turf. They haven't lost in Denver since last year. And people are just ecstatic. I've seen maybe 3 Jaguars fans here, maybe a little bit more than 3. But it's basically all Broncos fans. And if you thought it was loud last week, it's going to be even more louder this week. I'm going to head into the gate, so I'm going to take myself off until I scan my ticket in. But after that, I'll come back in and we'll talk more. Okay, guys?
Love it.
Sounds good.
Good to say, Kev. All right,
I mean,
jump him down.
to
Yeah, I
kind of
mean,
go along. Oh no, go ahead, Jared.
I was gonna say I love his enthusiasm and the fact that the fans are ready and he thinks it's gonna be as loud as we want it to be.
Right. I'm actually surprised that he said that there were 3 Jaguars fans there. I mean, that's like 2 more than what I thought would be there. I don't. Do you know anybody who's a Jaguars fan in real life?
I do, and it's mostly because of my Navy background. We had a huge base there in
Ah,
Jacksonville, so people kind of spend a lot of time there, and then they become fans. Honestly, because before really this year, they've been. It's like once every 5 years they have a good season, and then the rest of it they're
right.
just trash. And so like they give away tickets to the military pretty easily, so they go to a lot of games, and then they just kind of become fans that way. But yeah, that's the only reason I know a couple Jags fans. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but to go back to this home field advantage thing that we're talking about, you really kind of get the feeling that the fan base is really starting to rally behind this team too, by the fact that I was at the Kansas City game where it just felt like everybody was so invested in Denver winning that game. Obviously the vibe last week, it felt like a playoff game last week. So with the stretch drive coming, anybody who's going to the game today, if you're on your way or if you're listening, get loud. Make this a tough place for the baby cats over there to play in.
Yeah, real quick, I want to mention Chris. Yeah, absolutely, man. Glad you got that jersey. We gave away. This is the 10th anniversary of Bourbon Broncos No BS here, and we gave away three, I think 3 or 4 Bo Nix jerseys when we hit 10 wins, and we try to give away every week. We try to give away a jersey here on this show. Stick around, give your input on what you think the score is going to be. You have to pick Denver to win. And if the Denver wins and you guess the score correctly, we'll also send you a Bo Nix jersey. And Chris here is a testament to we're good for it. We're not just saying it. We're going to send you those Bo Nix jerseys. So, hey, I'm glad you got your Bo Nix jersey. I'm glad you guys are all here. Glad you guys are excited for the game. Let's talk real quick about the offensive line and the injury report. Ben Powers being activated off IR, and it looks like he's going to be coming back. 𝐓𝐫𝐚𝐲'𝐬 doing very well in his stead,
Right.
honestly. I think he played very well, and we're probably going to see a lot of 𝐓𝐫𝐚𝐲'𝐬 in this game, even though Ben Powers is activated, he's going to be the starter. Maybe easing Ben Powers back in or using 𝐓𝐫𝐚𝐲'𝐬 back to that what we were using Frank Crum in, which is to get that extra offensive lineman in that heavy package, right?
I mean that would seem like it's gonna be the strategy is that maybe 𝐓𝐫𝐚𝐲'𝐬 will still continue to be the starter, but they're gonna work Powers in as much as they can. Now, from my understanding, offensive line play, you want the continuity is crucial at all times. So when Powers went down, there was a legitimate question on how well 𝐓𝐫𝐚𝐲'𝐬 would actually come in and step in, and he's played remarkably well. So do
Yeah.
you think? I mean, in your opinion, do you think is this maybe a continuity thing that they're messing with, or do you really want to try to get Powers in there?
I brought this up, and Adam, I think me and you were on the same page, but I will take a step back and I'll say what we talked about in the pregame podcast, which it's Spotty and David both mentioned the same thing. We are paying Ben Powers way too much money to not have him playing if he's healthy to go, right? And he is an absolute expert. And if you look at like Madden rankings, you got like an 89 and an 87, so like the drop off's not that hard. But when you got the guy back, you got to let him in, right? And I don't think it's going to mess too much. He's still been with the team. He's still been at practices. He's been watching practices, doing his thing. I think he knows the plays. I don't think there's an issue with that. But I also trust that Sean Payton knows that if he feels like there's some concern there and that he thinks that he's not getting it, he'll throw 𝐓𝐫𝐚𝐲'𝐬 back in there. He has no problem, putting 𝐓𝐫𝐚𝐲'𝐬 back if he feels like Ben Powers isn't fully ready to go.
Yeah, Chris, I am kind of in that same mindset as well. That since 𝐓𝐽𝐻's been playing and has been part of the offensive success in the last 3 weeks, I would be more comfortable keeping Powell in there to keep the continuity going. But like what you're saying, Jared, Powers was playing at a really high level before he got hurt. So do you necessarily and if you're of the mindset that you can't lose your spot due to injury, then yeah, it would stand it. Either way you look at it, the Broncos have a really good problem in that they have 6 healthy, highly effective offensive linemen And there are some teams who don't have 5 effective offensive linemen. So this is this is a good problem for the Broncos to have right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Kev, what do you think?
The crazy thing, and we were talking about this in tailgates too, the Broncos have such depth. I will say it 1,000 times over. I think they have the best depth in the league. And the fact that we have built this team through the draft and have these problems that you guys are talking about, with all of this dead cap space, is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Also, let me know if it's too loud, if you guys can. But
No, you're good.
seriously, to be in this position, I mean, look what the Eagles built through the draft. The Chiefs built through the draft. But they did not have the dead cap space that we've had to deal with. And we've done this in a matter of 2 years. And now we're sitting here. This is going to be a problem come next year. We're going to be sitting, not talking about, well, do we have enough guys to fill the 53-man roster? It's going to be, we have too many guys. there are probably going to be some surprise cuts going in next year. I know that's a next year problem, but it's a good problem to have because you have this depth. You have these players who are ready to go at a moment's notice. The moment their name is called, they go out on the field and they get their job done. And it's a phenomenal problem to have. And if you're looking at the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, you can't tell me that as soon as the Broncos get rid of this dead cap space, that we're going to continue to have problems. Because we have a very bright future on this.
Yeah, Kev, I make a great point. I just want to bring up, if everybody remembers a couple of weeks ago that we had a bunch of Broncos fans at I forgot what it was, like a Chargers game, playing somebody. The guy behind you is a Houston Texans fan, and I love that level of pettiness to go wear your Houston Texans gear to a Broncos game because it's a big game for them too. It's a huge game for them to if we could beat the Jaguars this game, that gives them the chance to win the AFC South. I love it, and I think he's going to be cheering just as much for the Broncos as everybody else in that stadium, which is absolutely, I love it.
I mean, absolutely.
I know, guys, that we're almost at the half-hour mark, which means we're coming up on the score prediction challenge. But I just want to reiterate, everyone's feeling really good. Everyone's feeling really positive. It's a great atmosphere because everyone understands this team is good, and they have something to fight for today, right? We're not at the end of the season saying maybe we can save some space. We're fighting for that number 1 spot. We're fighting for the home field advantage. It goes back to some of these storylines I talked about before. We're fighting for Garrett Bowles. We're fighting for Gordon Sutton, who are finally, after sticking with the Broncos for this whole time, ready to go, and elevate them to the status of not just being Ring of Famers, but Hall of Famers with at least 1 ring on their finger. So there's just tons of positivity, and I expect this game, they're going to keep calling this, another possible playoff matchup or whatever the case is. We're going to bring the playoff atmosphere, and it's maybe a good thing we're not doing a pregame show after this because I'm planning on not having a voice for the next 24 to 48 hours. Tomorrow night's show might be a problem.
I would be disappointed if you did have a voice.
Yeah, that's what Andrew says. You better have no voice after this game, and I think that's the important part. And I think a lot of people are going to. I like the idea that this is a playoff atmosphere, and I think that this is a good introduction for Broncos playoff atmosphere. We're going to get a home field as long as we can win enough games to get the AFC West. And we might have through the whole playoffs all the way up to the Super Bowl. And I think this is important because this is a playoff team, right? We have to remember that. The game we played last week is a playoff team. The game we played this week is an AFC playoff team. And so we have to keep that mentality in here and being like, this is a team that we are going to and may as well see again here in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So let's play our best game. Let's go put our best forward. Let's do what we need to do. Let's make adjustments. And I think that's something that me and Adam can talk about here in a little bit. But the ability for the Denver Broncos coaching staff to make adjustments mid-game is uncanny. And it's amazing how we can do that. Specifically, being a Broncos fan for as long as we haven't had that in a very long time. And so being able to go in there and be like, okay, just because we start slow doesn't mean we're down and out. Like we can go out there, make the adjustments and get the game done. A lot of that rides on the defense playing better. A lot of that rides on Bo Nix doing what he needs to do. But yeah, it's absolutely going to be amazing to watch.
One thing I want to add, guys, is I confirm and I want to say if, just in case, everyone's interested in the Broncos win today, they will be selling AFC West champion shirts in the team store after the game. So they're ready to go. They're ready to go.
Are they advertising them already, or they have them hung up already, or he's getting yelled at with something?
I mean, I made it a point of like not to get AFC West championship shirts, but I think after the drought that we've had in the last, however many years,
Yeah.
I may go out and get me an AFC West championship or the West Division champion, obviously.
Last time I got a championship shirt was when we won the AFC and we got our ass handed to us by Seattle. And we won the AFC and we went to the Super Bowl, and I bought the AFC champion shirt and I was so proud of it. And I can't wear it now because it's an embarrassing time, right? And I have it, and I'm like, I don't want to wear this thing. It's awful. So I refuse to buy it until we win the Super Bowl, and then we'll buy. I'll buy everything. I got all the Broncos Super Bowl stuff.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be rushing in the team store after the game saying I want the AFC West champion. I only want the Super Bowl champion shirt. And look, if it's not this year, the way the Broncos are going, it's going to happen real soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I'm looking at this. It looks like it looks like the Buffalo Bills have they're not doing very well. They're only up by 3 right now to Cleveland, so that's a huge game to watch. Tennessee absolutely stomping the Kansas City Chiefs, who are on their third quarterback right now with Gardner Minshew going out, which is awesome and amazing and beautiful for everybody. Regardless of if they're out already, it's just nice to see Kansas City realize that without Pat Mahomes, they're a nobody. And other than that, like this is a good day. If we could get Buffalo to win, if Dallas could get their stuff together in the last quarter, that'd be great. But I don't think that's going to happen.
What's the score of that? Just because I lost track of what that game was.
Hold on, I'll pull it up real quick. But it was a lot to a little, and then the Chargers were driving down last night, so I'm watching the red zone. So let me pull it up real quick.
Chargers 27, Cowboys 17. There's 8:48 left in the fourth. So not great for the boys if that's it. Now,
yeah,
I do want to kind of throw one little thing out there. When people ask you, well, you have to feel bad for the Chiefs, right? Because they lost their quarterback, they're not playing for anything. Do you feel bad in the slightest?
Here's the thing: I don't feel bad for the Chiefs. I don't feel bad for as a team. I don't feel bad for the fan base. I feel bad for Patrick Mahomes. That's who I feel bad for, and that's it. I mean, like anytime he's having an injury like that, and you go down, I feel bad for Patrick Mahomes. It's tough. What I love for Patrick Mahomes is it reemphasizes how important he is to that team, but B, it shows the rest of like the Chiefs kingdom, whatever they call themselves, that they're trash without the one guy. One guy is the difference between them being a possible playoff team, which they weren't even with him in, to losing to the worst team in the league. Like by far the worst team in the league. Like it's amazing. And oh man, I love the orange in the end zone stick.
Yeah. I also really love that the fan base is really showing out, and like it's not even like you can see pockets of other opposition fans there. It is just oranged out. The vibes at the stadium have been immaculate lately.
Yeah, and talk about last week too. And I forget if you went to the game last week, Kev, but the one team in the league that travels the best is the Green Bay Packers. And we still had the major home field advantage. Like we were still louder than anybody else, and it was absolutely really cool to feel that and to have that energy. Again, obviously the win streak helps. The fact that the team's doing well, the fact that we're supposed to be rebuilding, we finally found our franchise quarterback after 10 years. All these things are absolutely beautiful, and I think that the fans are feeling it, and it's just another level of the energy there in Denver.
Do you guys want to go over the score prediction challenge, or do you want me to?
I mean, we can. I mean, we still got 30 minutes, but we can do score prediction now. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, guys, so score prediction challenge. It is time to enter your score predictions. One, you have to bet on guess the Broncos to win. I'm not going to give you any jerseys if you guess on the Jaguars to win. You also have to get the score prediction correct. Obviously, you have to get your score prediction in before kickoff. We're also going to only accept your first score prediction. If you want to enter 10, if you want to enter 20, that's totally fine. It only helps the algorithm. But if you say, hey, Kevin, we got the score prediction right, I want a jersey, and I see that it was your second or 10th or 20th prediction, it ain't going to count. We're only going to take the first one. I am dying to give a jersey away because of the score prediction challenge, and it is open right now. Guys, while you're doing that, you're talking about the Green Bay Packers from last week and everything. Spotty had a really good point. From this season, every team that has played the Broncos at home here in
Right.
Denver has only had a 1-5 record the week following. And it just shows that the Broncos know how to break teams. And the Green Bay Packers is the latest victim. I expect Trevor Lawrence to look incredibly human today. He threw, everyone's talking about how great Trevor Lawrence is playing. He threw 5 interceptions against the Arizona Cardinals. And if it had been any other team other than the Arizona Cardinals or the Las Vegas Raiders, they would have lost that game. And this is a defense that has just now started to get some traction in terms of the turnovers. This team is feeling themselves. These guys, the Denver Broncos, are on their home turf and ready to defend. So get your score predictions in, guys. It is time now, but we're ready to break the Jaguars.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll go through our score predictions here too as you guys are getting them in. We got Chris here with 28-25 Denver, Jerry 28-20, Broncos 31, Jags 23. I love that score prediction.
I like that.
38-20. Jose thinks this is going to be a little bit of a blowout, and I'm kind of loving this.
I like the
And
enthusiasm.
I'll say if we could get 38-20, I guarantee 7 comes from the defense. If we can get up to 30, I think a pick 6 is on the table, and I really think just in general, pick 6 is on the table overall. Kathleen coming in 30-25 for the Broncos. People's thinking we're really gonna see Bo Nix of last week here again this week, and then Karen coming in 27-21 Broncos. Adam, I'll give it over to you to start. What do you think your score prediction is and why?
I think that we've seen since the Kansas City game, we've seen an offense start to find its identity a little bit, start to find its rhythm. So I really feel like they're going to put maybe a higher end 20 spot today. I'm going to go 27-17 Broncos.
27-17. I like it. So in the pregame podcast, if you guys listen and download, and if you don't, go to even if you don't listen to podcasts, go to Apple, download it, subscribe, help us out a little bit. I'd really appreciate it. Me, David and Spotty do a really good job of breaking down individual plays, individual players, individual matchups, and then coaching matchups. Like, it's very in depth. So if you like that kind of stuff, go subscribe to the Bourbon Broncos No BS podcast there in Orange Weekly. It was funny they were making fun of me because my score prediction, I believe, was 28-25. And I chose 25, and everybody gave me this like weird look, like, what a weird number. But nobody's got it yet. And so I'm just throwing stuff at the wall at this point. I really don't know what we're going to do. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we block a couple extra points or something. I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out. But I think the Denver Broncos have a good chance, definitely, of not only winning this game. I do think it's going to be close, and I think, unfortunately, they may be the first ones to score. The big key here is don't let their quarterback Herbert get comfortable. As soon as he gets comfortable, he's going to throw for 380 yards, 400 yards. As soon as we make him uncomfortable, he's going to throw 3 picks like he did in Arizona, right? He's going to go through 3 picks. He's going to get flustered. He's not going to be able to know what to do. He's not going to know where to go. The only team that they've played with the defense like the Denver Broncos is the Houston Texans. And I think they've only played them once so far this year. They may have played them twice. I have to look it up. But that's the only defense that I can look at as I look through their schedule that's really comparable. And they don't have the secondary like we do. Right? Yeah. Our pride is in our secondary. And I think Riley Moss, I think somebody said earlier, they're wearing the Riley Moss jersey, is a much more formidable opponent than people are giving him. They target him because you see what happens when you target Pastor Tan with his long arms and everything. He's going to get the pick. He's going to be able to cover guys like Christian Watson. I think that the Denver Broncos get a pick 6 here, and I think that we end up winning this game 28-25.
It's been a minute. It's been a little bit since we've had a defensive scores, and which is kind of been its own
Herbert.
little weird part of the defense with how dominant they've been, that we have not seen as much, those types of plays. But from what you were saying, yeah, Trevor Lawrence is one of those guys where if you look at the eye test, there's not much to find wrong with there. Prototype size, prototype strength, big arm, can make some crazy plays here and there. What I will say though is that there doesn't seem to when things are going great, he looks great. But
Yep.
to what Jared was saying, when there's pressure in his face and you can make him uncomfortable, a little bit different player. Now, that's really bad news for the Jags. Great news for the Broncos, because you have a top 5 defense, a Super Bowl caliber winning defense, if we're all being honest. But do you think that these slow starts that the Broncos have had on the defensive end is that going to come back? Are we going to see another replay of that today, where we see maybe a couple series where it takes them a little bit to kind of make their adjustment and then they go from there? Or are we going to see a complete defensive effort today?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we see a complete defensive effort, and I think part of that is I'm hoping for that. And this is not the team to allow to get momentum going. There's been teams, obviously the Giants. There's been teams, the Jets, right? There's teams that we kind of allowed them to get momentum, and then we got it back at the end when we needed it, came back and won. I don't think the Jags are a team that we can allow to get momentum. As soon as their offense gets momentum and gets a rhythm going, it's going to be very hard to stop them. Now, I do trust our coaching staff to be able to control it, but we don't want them to get out further than like 2 scores ahead. If they get out 2-3 scores ahead, I'm a little worried going forward, because they have the ability to get down and score, as opposed to letting us go 3 now. And then, Andrew, I apologize. I've been watching this Chargers game, and come on, 6'5", they both have long hair. They both have big, are we really picking straws here? They're the same quarterback. They really are. They're basically the same guy. No, I'm just giving you crap. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sorry. I messed that up. Lawrence is their quarterback, and he is a good quarterback, and I think he does. But again, he reminds me of Phillip Rivers back when he was younger, not the 300-pound Phillip Rivers we saw last week, but the 190-pound, 210-pound Phillip Rivers, who was either really good throwing for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, or really bad throwing for 150 yards and 3 interceptions. So I'm hoping we see, with them having 4 wins in a row, coming to Mile High, especially being exhausted in the 4th and 3rd quarter, I hope we see around 200 yards, 2 interception game from Trevor Lawrence.
Now, since we're kind of breaking down the game and breaking down matchups, is there anybody on the Jags that maybe gives you a little bit of pause? I know that we just talked Trevor Lawrence, and we do kind of feel like our defense is kind of going to be the antidote to what he does well. But is there anybody else on the Jags that maybe does have an advantage that we haven't quite seen yet, and that maybe is going to give this defense a little bit of trouble?
There's 2, and I'll go 1 on offense, 1 on defense. I'll do my offense 1. I'll give it over to you, so I don't take both yours, because I'm sure you have someone in mind. And then we'll give it to Kevin, and then I want to do my defense 1 too. But the big one for me is Tim Patrick. And money in the jar. Where's my money? Put the dollar in the jar, Kev. I'm going to talk about Tim Patrick, because I hated the fact that we let him go. There it is. I hated the fact that we let him go, but we also are very bad, right? If you go back to the Cleveland game last year, if you go back to basically any time we play a player that when we gave him away, we're we hope for the best. We hope they do well. Javonte Williams, right? We end up winning that game, but he ended up having a very good game. Another dollar in the jar there. I'm going to say both their names multiple times. You're going to get a lot of money on this Bourbon Broncos no BS. I'm putting a lot of money here. Javonte Williams, Jerry Jeudy, and now Tim Patrick. I hope he's been having a very good game. He's been having a very good season, and I think he's someone that knows exactly what they need to do against this Denver Broncos defense. They know where he's practiced against it for a very long time. He practiced against it last year with VJ as the coach. So, I think he's somebody that's probably gone in the locker room and be like, hey, this is what they do, and this is where they're going to go. So he's someone that I'm worried about. And it's going to be one of those awkward ones. He's going to get a big catch, and I'm going to be like, dang it, but good. But dang it. I do love Tim Patrick. Being a San Diego kid, I'm a huge fan of Tim Patrick growing up here. He grew up here in San Diego, went to high school here, went off and played for us for a little while. And I do wish him nothing but the best, just not today.
No, yeah. If you don't love Timmy P, what is wrong with you, for one? And no, if there's anybody on the roster right now that does kind of remind me a little bit of Timmy P and how we used to come up big on third down, it's Pat Bryant a little bit.
Yeah.
But to
Who's
kind of
also
go
coming
along,
back this week.
great point. If there's one guy on the Jags that does give me a little bit of pause, it is the running back ETN. Not so much running the ball, but if there is a vulnerability in the Denver defense, which we've seen, it's been running backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield. And if there's a guy that's really good at doing it, it's Travis Etienne. So I really need Alex Singleton to be on the top of his game. I need Dre Green. I mean, Dre Greenlaw was in perfect position to break up that end zone pass to Josh Jacobs. And if not for a circus catch, you probably you would have broken it up. So if there's anybody there that really needs to be stepping up on the Broncos side of the ball today, I think it needs to be our linebackers. They need to make sure that Travis Etienne does not beat them through the air today.
Well, I chime in. One thing that I've heard is Jaguars are 26th in the league on third down. The Broncos are first in third down defense. So let the Jaguars run on first and second down. What you're saying, Adam, stop them, put them in those third and long positions, and make the game fall on Trevor Lawrence's shoulders. You get the pass rush to him, you hit him a couple times, you get him flustered. That is the perfect concoction of getting the ball back to the Broncos, going for turnover, punt return.
It's loud already. I love it. I love it.
Kind of loud.
That's a great point. And then 10 here, I want to bring this up too, Matt Myers. Like, and I get it. Like, we played them twice a year for so many times, and like anytime we played the Raiders, no matter how good they were, we always had a fit with them somehow. And he has been pretty bad. He's worried about Moss and the free play on Myers because Thomas is their number one wide receiver. You're probably gonna see a lot of Thomas on Pat Surtain, and then Myers on Riley Moss, which is fine. And I think, they're going to try to take some deep shots. They're going to know that those back shoulder throws that we're not very good at covering the back shoulder because we just blanket. We do a really good job of blanketing that team. But I don't think I'm so worried about Myers as I am about Tim Patrick. And I'm honestly not super worried about Thomas either. And I think that's mostly because we have Pat Surtain there, right?
I think that you kind of have to take into account that whatever big name wideout is going to come into Denver, they're going to draw a PS2. They're going to probably have a really bad game due to PS2. So I'm not as worried about Brian Thomas. Also, Brenton Strange is a decent kind of two-way tight end that Jacksonville has. So I mean that short to medium intermediate game that a lot of what Bo Nix does, I think the Jags could try to use that to their advantage too. If there is a little bit of an antidote to a really aggressive defense, it's to have that short to intermediate passing game, kind of paper cut teams to death. I kind of think that's the only way that they're going to get any offense going. I know that they're good enough on offense. I don't see a whole lot of dynamic kind of over the top plays that they're going to make. I think if they had Travis Hunter, maybe that could have been a guy that they could have used. But I mean, in a lot of ways, it seems like it's a little bit of the same team. But when you come to the defensive side of the ball, I have a hard time seeing where the defensive side of the ball is not clearly the better unit when those two are going to be on the field, when it's Denver defense, Jacksonville offense. But I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big matchup I think everyone's watching more than anything. And we could talk about this defense. I wanted to mention a couple people on the defensive side, right? You have guys like Josh Hines Allen, who's, playing pretty well at the edge there. We cannot get into third and long situations. Now, I trust Garrett Bowles and Michael Lynch to both be able to control him to an extent, but he's going to get his. Right, he's like one of those guys that he's going to get through one play a game when you have as many plays you have. But the other one I'm worried about is someone who's playing at an all pro level is Devin Lloyd. Their middle linebacker, Devin Lloyd, is absolutely having a fantastic season, both in the run game and the pass game. And I think that's somebody that we need to avoid. And when we talk about RJ Harvey trying to get going, we need to avoid Devin Lloyd because he's going to be able to fill the gaps. He's going to be able to shoot them, and he's going to be able to cover guys out of the backfield. So we need to try to figure out some sort of scheme to get him out of the play. And I think that's what the when you look at the film, I think that's what they're going to do going into this from the offensive side is get Devin Lloyd out of the play so that we can take advantage of their, let's say, questionable secondary. And I think that we have the wide receivers to be able to do it. Establishing a run is going to be important, but I think it's going to be another one that we're gonna throw to establish the run instead of run to establish the pass. And I think that's what's going to end up happening here.
Yeah, and that was my point a little bit as well, is that I don't like this Jacksonville defense can be run on. I don't know that we necessarily have that kind of game plan in our back pocket. But if RJ can run well enough, if I don't know that he's going to get that 20-25 carries, but if he's effective in that 13 to 15 carry range, maybe gets that 65 to 75 yards at a clip. I think he's had 4 straight games with a touchdown. So I mean, I think if we get another rushing touchdown today, I think that's probably going to be I think that can be enough to beat Jacksonville. So I mean, matchup for matchup, I like Denver's chances. However, I do like that point about Devin Lloyd. If there was a guy that I loved coming out of Utah when he was in the draft, it was Devin Lloyd. So that is a stud. He is a baller. He's a baller. But
yeah, Adam, we talked about this. Adam, I think I'm inducting you into the ILB Bros group because I have been dying for an inside linebacker. I know Patrick Queen was kind of there, but he wasn't there to be able to pick up. He was a big guy for me. Devin Lloyd was another one I wish we would have picked up in 2022. Like there's a lot of inside linebackers in the draft that I'm like, we got to get a big inside linebacker. We haven't gotten one, and I've been dying to get one as the captain of the team. And now I mean, don't get me wrong. Like picking up Dre Greenlaw was a huge big piece for me, and I was super happy with that. So I'll take it. But we need a big inside linebacker and a guy like Devin Lloyd who can do everything. Right, he can rush the passer. He can go out and pass coverage. He can fill the holes when needs to in his position as a Mike linebacker, and he can run a defense effectively. He's the stereotypical inside linebacker that every team wants on their team, and he's a guy that's going to give us fits if we don't make sure we know where he is on the field at all times. And you might see it. You might see Bo going to the line and calling him out every single play. What's his? I don't know his number is 0. There's zeros here, right? And Mike, right? And so you're going to see that a lot. And you got to make sure we know where he is on the field at all times.
Oh, absolutely. I guess and we're also one of the things that I really thought about in this win streak, the quality of caliber of opponent that we're facing. This is, I mean, we say it every week. This is a battle-tested team. I don't know that in the midst of where we're at right now, I don't think there's any kind of apprehension, at least within the team, of maybe the screw getting tight a little bit, or maybe them playing a little bit tense. I mean, if anything, this team just seems like they're in such a good groove mentally, physically, with certain guys coming back. Yeah, I've been kind of looking for ways that maybe they can lose this game today. And don't get me wrong, Jacksonville's a good team. I'm not taking anything away from them, but I just think Denver is just playing just a little bit better, and they're playing with just this. I mean, we say it all the time. They're playing with a ton of confidence. They're playing with a ton of swag right now. So, I mean, what are we really talking about as far as like expectations was what we see in this game? Are we hoping that they get a little bit better? Are we hoping for a little bit more consistent defensive effort, or are we think this is going to play out like it normally plays out?
Yeah, I do think it's probably going to play out like it normally plays out, but I think that's why we're playing with confidence, is because we know that we have a team that can go out there and do whatever we need to do. Even if we're down by 2 scores, we can go out there and score if we need to, and their defense is going to step up and do the thing. I mean, we're opening as like 2.5-point favorites, which is basically just home field advantage. 3.5 points, yeah, so a little bit more than home field advantage, which is good. But yeah, there's a lot of confidence in its splits, and it took week 16. Week 15, it took 15 weeks for the national media and the betting odds to kind of realize that the Denver Broncos aren't here for to mess around. And I think that game last week really showed a lot. And now we feel like we're in kind of a prove it game, right? Which is weird, but when we're on a 12-game win streak, or an 11-game win streak, we're on an 11-game win streak, and now it's like, oh, okay, they finally beat an opponent that the national media thinks is worthwhile. Go out
right?
and do it again. And I'm there. I'm with it. Like, let's go out and do it again. Let's show everybody that, like, this is a team that's probably going to make Super Bowl. And we only started hearing that and the Denver Broncos in the same conversation this week. This is the first time that I've heard that being said, and we've been talking about it for at least 3 or 4.
I mean, I know that I am always talking about disrespect. I feel like the Broncos are still being slept on a little bit. But I mean, to Ken's point, I don't think the team really cares. And I know that some teams really feed into the disrespect. They feed into that underdog role. I just don't think Denver really care. I don't think the boys in that locker room care one way or the other. I don't. If they're disrespected, I don't think it really registers on their radar. If all the stuff, the accolades that come with it, I also don't think are very, weigh on their minds either. I think this is the team that really does have the focus of, let's just finish 1-0 for today, and let's play our best ball, and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
I'm going to cut in here before we get national anthem. Thanks for letting me hop on. I know it's maybe kind of noisy and everything. But look, Broncos know what they're playing for. Everybody's excited. Jared, I'm glad I didn't find a photo of you and maybe a photo of you wearing a certain jersey when you were younger. I'm glad you grew up and realized what team as the Jaguars obviously are taking the field right now. I just got to call that out because, bro, I'm so glad you grew up into knowing what that is. Anyway, guys, go Broncos. I'll be cheering for every single one of you guys that are here at Stadium today. I'm not going to have voice by the first quarter, but let's go Broncos. Broncos 31-20. This is going to be a game which is close, but the Broncos thrive in close situations. Guys, close it out today. Thanks for your support. Everyone in the comments, thank you very much. But as always, let's go Broncos.
Let's go. All right, Kev coming live from the stadium. Love the energy already. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it through the phone, man. It's amazing. And I'm a little. It's funny. We a whole week of shows, right? We did a Tuesday show. We did the pregame podcast. We're doing this now. And Adam, I know a lot of the guys know me from when I was, in middle school. We grew up together. And I'll admit it. You guys give me crap. Everybody feel free to give me crap in the comments. When I was younger, and I don't know why, when Jacksonville first came in the league, I think it was 97, 96, 97, when they first came in the league, I was trying to figure out who my football team was going to be, and I was that guy. I was the guy that grew up in Colorado, and I was like, I don't want to be a Broncos fan. Like, this is, like, everybody, like, I don't want to be with the crew. Like, I don't want to be with the group. And so I chose the Jaguars, and I did have a Fred Taylor jersey. I had a Mark Brunell jersey. I was a Jaguars fan. I also had no clue what Duval was until after I joined the Navy, like, however many years later. And so, but I did. And it was funny because I'd wear it to school and they'd all give me crap. And I'm like, screw you guys. And then Jacksonville wins, beats Denver to not three-peat that year. And I was super excited. And then I came around to my senses and realized, like, I grew up in Colorado watching Broncos football every single week. Why? I've never even been to Jacksonville. Like, I've never even been there. And I finally went to go see him when I was in the Navy. I was stationed in Pensacola and I drove out to Jacksonville. I was like, I just kind of want to see it. And I drove around the stadium. I got to tour the stadium and I was like, I was a fan of these guys. Like, how did that happen? Let me look back on my middle school decisions and realize that, like, maybe I need to mature a little bit and go back and be like, you know what? I grew up in Colorado and Broncos are my team, and they kind of really always have been. But yeah, no, I'm probably still have. My mom's probably has it somewhere in her basement, a Mark Brunell jersey or a Fred Taylor jersey. For the record, that team was really good. That was a really good team.
I'm not disappointed you were a Jags fan. I'm disappointed you did not have everything figured out when you were 12, man. I really do.
What was I thinking?
Get it together. Now, I remember I had to know because that was, let's see, we won the first Super Bowl in 98. That was the year before, so that was 96. And I know that there are teams out there that we can't stand that are besides division rivals. I will say right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are one of those teams that I have an irrational dislike for. because as a tiny little tyke, also in middle school, they upset the Broncos in that divisional game. I was a very despondent 12-year-old at that point, and wondering about my life choices. I'm like, why is life so unfair? I just want my team to win one Super Bowl. This seemed like it'd be the year that we'd get it, and now it's not going to be. Why? Why is life so unfair? So it didn't matter that we beat them the next year in the divisional round. It doesn't matter that we've kind of all gone our separate ways, and we've got 2 titles. They've got, I don't know, no sales tax, I guess, but but it just is. I see that kind of aqua color. I see the logo, and I get a little in my soul. So I don't know where we're going with our stories here, but I mean, I don't like the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's a special kind of play. It's a special kind of animosity that I don't know that I'm ever going to get over.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find the comments, and it was earlier on, and I feel bad. I'm sorry if I can't find it, and I forget who posted it. That's why I was trying to find it. But they mentioned the I just have this hate for the Jaguars because
Yes.
of those years, and
95.
it's just, oh, here we go. It was Andrew. Could add a three-peat if it wasn't for the Jaguars. Right? And then, like, so there's this like anger towards the Jaguars that goes back. I mean, we're talking a decade, and more than that, almost 2 decades. We're talking about two full decades, 20 years ago, and we still have this like Jaguars. We got to figure it out. No, but not a single person is playing for either one of these teams anymore, and we still just have this like hatred towards the organization for that reason. And yeah, I think it's it's great, and I think that it makes this game fun. But like we talked about it, and I think the big piece here is one game at a time is really just been the mantra. And you hear it not just in like the media, but you see it right on the field, and it doesn't matter who we're playing. It could be the worst team in the league. We could beat up on we beat the Cowboys, and then they're not the worst team in the league, but like obviously the Giants game was a huge one just because of the comeback win. But like we go out there and we win these games that really are against teams that we should have won anyway, and they're celebrating like, hey, we won it, man. Like, let's go. And I think that's the mentality of like this one game at a time. Like, it doesn't matter what the overall score is. Everything else will follow. And I forget who the famous baseball player that they interviewed. I hate this because my CO says it all the time in our all hands calls. But he mentions this baseball player, and he talks about like, he said, do you worry about like, hey, you're close to the home run record, or you're close to this record? He was like, I don't worry about the records. I go out every single day and I play my best, and the records will follow. And I think that's the mentality of this Broncos team, and it's just really special. And it's special to be a part of. And here's the unfortunate part is whatever happens at the end of the year, minus the Super Bowl team, a Super Bowl win, it's going to be disappointing at this point in the season. Where we stand right now, 10 minutes from kickoff, less than 5 minutes from kickoff. If we go out and we don't win the Super Bowl this year, there's going to be a level that we're all like, oh, this team was so special. Like, what did we do? Where did we go wrong? What do we need to do? And it's a great place to be right now. And when that follow-on time comes, it's going to be like, ugh. But it's a great place to be right now. Let's watch us go out there and play a football game against the Jaguars, an AFC playoff team. As mentioned in the comments, so the Chargers win, so we still need to win out to win the West. The Browns had a chance to go down. They ended up in like a 4th and 32 position. It ended up not being well for him. Buffalo ends up winning that game 23-20. Tennessee beats Kansas City. I know it has nothing to do with the playoffs, but it's just amazing to watch 26-9. So the rest of the NFL is not going the way that we wanted it to, right? However, we have it in our it's in the future is in our hands. Exactly. If we go out and win the rest of these games, then we don't need to worry about what the rest of the NFL is doing, which is a great place to be. So let's go out, let's win against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and let's go into next week going, hey, on Christmas, we're going to take Kansas City, who just lost to the Tennessee Titans 26-9, in Kansas City with their 3rd-string quarterback, and whip up on them, and then let's keep going, right?
And to kind of build on that, Jared, this is a relatively young team. And relatively young teams are make mistakes. They kind of put themselves a little bit ahead of the situation, if you will. I don't know that you've seen that all year. I don't know that you've seen this maybe looking ahead to down the road, or man, it sure would be nice, or maybe over celebrating in certain situations. The mood in the locker room after they clinched last season, they were happy, and you could see them kind of getting the monkey off their back a little bit. But to the news that they clinched the playoff spot before anybody else, and when reporters are breaking the news to them, it was like, well, yeah, that's nice, but we're not playing. Yeah, we're not playing to be the first in the tournament. We're playing to win the tournament, and we still got some things that we need to accomplish. And the fact that, they seem so single-minded right now, that may be like the most dangerous thing about them right now, is that it seems like they are laser focused on being one of those last teams playing at the end of the year. And for going through the wilderness in this, since the last Super Bowl and all the stuff that came with that, man, this is a great time to be a Broncos fan. And I am, I'm so happy and so excited that we can share this with you guys. And the fact that you guys are there watching, that's why we do it. And I'm really happy having this community to just talk about Broncos football.
Broncos country is the best. And we started Orange Weekly, and I'm going to get a little touchy before the kickoff here in about a minute, but we started Orange Weekly because we were, post Super Bowl, that Kevin and I were both military, and we didn't have the group. Like, we weren't in Colorado, we weren't in Denver to go to the bars and talk to Broncos football. Like, we had to basically walk around with our jersey on and be like, anybody else rooting for these guys, right? And so we got together. We ended up being stationed in the same place for a year after the Super Bowl win, and we were like, hey, let's do this thing. Let's just go online. Let's talk to people online, and it worked out well. We're doing it for 10 years now, and we've gotten a lot of great people like Adam. We really appreciate you jumping on and joining us, and just Broncos country through the years, through the down. Let's be honest, these last 10 years, there's been some down years, right? And we've gone through how many coaches, the quarterback carousel, all these things all lead up to this year. In a year that was supposed to be our second year of a rebuild, we're now the number 1 in the AFC West. It's just a beautiful feeling, and I'm just relishing in it. And like you said, Adam, we wouldn't be here without the fans. We wouldn't be here without you guys, because we love doing this for you guys. Thank you so much for following. As always, we really appreciate you guys so much. Make sure if you guys screenshotted, or if you go back and remember the score prediction that you guys put there, screenshot it, send it to us. If the score prediction comes right, we send you a Bo Nix jersey, because it's our 10-year anniversary. So hopefully you guys win that. We're rooting for you. Last week at halftime, or at the end of the game, we were rooting for you. Ken almost won it, and he was like this close, I think. And so thank you guys so much. Kickoff is about to kick off right now. I'm sure Kevin's already enjoying the atmosphere. Adam, thank you so much. This has been a great time. I think, is this the first time we've done a show just two of us?
I think it is the first time it's been just the two of us.
It's been fantastic, Adam. We should do it again. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. And enjoy the game. It looks like kickoff's getting ready to go right now. And as always, we end this with a very strong Go Broncos.
Go Broncos, let's go.
Let's go.
In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go.